devices. There we are. Here we are live. So, welcome. I feel like I was here last week, but I wasn't. Just a strange feeling. Just like, who was here? What did we do last week? Anyhow, we're here now. And all about now, all about arriving. Today, what I'd really like to do, and I'm saying this before I ring the bell. Oh, I know. I was thinking, I think I forgot to ring the bell last week, but I wasn't here last week. Did I ring the bell 2 weeks ago? I did. Thank you. Thank you for remembering for me. We'll be on the floor. Start off on the floor for our arrival, and I have something really delicious for you. You will also need, when you're on the floor, I will probably just talk you through this. But when you're on the floor, and that'll be sufficient. It's very simple and a little twist on something we usually do. I needed two, my pillows are kind of flat. I used two of these pillows. So you'll be on your back, knees bent, and you'll let one knee fall out to the side. So you could take some time, take a minute if you need to go grab a block or a rolled up blanket or a cushion or something. Definitely want, even it's not about your flexibility or ability to put your knee out to the side. It's about the leg having something to relax into. It really allows part of the body to relax so that we'll be massaging with our action parts of our lower back that we don't get without this setup. So it's super nice. I've been experiencing some, it might be sciatica, something is causing pain and numbness in my leg and my hip, and so this is, and we work with whatever experience meets us. We work with it as wisely as we can in the moment, and that's a big part of what our practice is. And we get more tools for our toolbox to, as we meet ourselves, and try to meet ourselves with as much kindness, gentleness in difficult meetings with what's happening. And then we can choose the best tools for that time. But also, there's something about learning to meet ourselves with that kindness. That the Guest House poem comes to mind, is that the nervous system, in order to learn something new, and I'm sure most of you know this, or to really be most effective at what you're about to do or doing, is if the nervous system is under tension or stress, things don't usually work as well. There's studies about children not learning as well when don't have a good breakfast, when they're emotionally stressed or something like that. So I'll ring the bell and you guys can get cozy on the floor with your cushions. You'll use it on one side and then the other. With that last bell, my body wanted a deeper breath. As you arrive, notice how your whole being responded to the bell. And thank you for being here. Thank you for joining us, for being part of the supportive community for this practice, but also there's sort of a thanking of ourself, thanking yourself for meeting yourself. And I want to say hello to some of the people who might be watching later. Maybe Denise. I think we have two versions of Lisa's who are signed up. Others that join us, Nina and Catherine, Kevin, Nancy. Thank you all. We were talking before the recording started about when we wake up in the middle of the night, and Sometimes we look out our window and we know that there's a light on in a nearby house, and there's some comfort in even that. There's a kind of comfort in the connection, in having that connection verified. We are already connected, but we need to remember it over and over again. So ground, what are you feeling as you meet the ground? I'm sitting and I'm be giving you these instructions from sitting, and they'll be plenty adequate. You won't need to see me. But I know the feeling, as I just suggested for you, to when you lie on your back and you meet the ground. And some parts of the body have some loud things to say, and some parts of the body are give huge sighs of relief and oohs and ahs, and I love this. So listen to the whole chorus of yourself, your body meeting the ground, nervous system, body, organs. Of course, your heart, emotional dimension is in tow, your thinking capacities are there, your remembering, your memories, your imagery. And as we walk through life, of course, these words that I'm saying and the separations I'm making between, we now notice ground and gravity, notice how it's playing out in all pieces of us, but is really not separate from what I just felt to notice. And you might be noticing is how the breath is moving through this body as you've repositioned on the ground. What your breath feels like and the spaces and movements and the kind of ride it's taking through your body, the shape changing it's making inside there. And then take a moment as maybe to, we can take from that little anecdote I mentioned about waking up at night and knowing there's a neighbor's light on, knowing there's someone to also sense as you feel your body, the ground, the gravity, your breath, but also you're on this space. And we already included the floor, what we're feeling. I didn't directly address it, but we're feeling this effect of our back body meeting the ground. You might bend your knees as I finish this thought, and if they're not bent already, and just the space around, the sounds and the space around. Just let your senses kind of scan out around you, scan and reach closer and farther. But all this is included. I was struck by, I have yet to listen to more of what the astronauts have been reporting from coming back on the Artemis journey. The woman, I think Christina Coach, oh, I can't remember, something like that. Maybe I have it all wrong, her name, but anyway, she mentioned that looking down at Earth, in addition to seeing its amazing beauty, and she also noticed the vast blackness all around it, that it's this tiny spaceship of its own, this Earth planet, with all of us are the crew on it, and it's surrounded by this vast blackness, but also other planets and stars. So knees bent, arrived. And you can over and over arrive and use all these tools to just come back to what is maybe like our primary mission here is arriving, just coming back to now and presence as often as we can remember, because it's really the main event. It's what's happening. And we make up a lot of other stories about it that are fun and some useful and some not so useful. So the main event is always coming back to right here. And so let your hands could rest on your lower belly, or one hand. Just feeling this lower torso part of us, um, encircled by, or the edges of it are the hip bones in front, the sacrum in back, the organs of the lower belly, the pelvic floor. So it's kind of an orb-like area I'm interested in this morning. And just let that orb roll in what in many movement and wellness classes, we roll the pelvis forward and back. And I like to think of a ball in there. My teacher shared this image of a golden ball, and it rolls towards, so that you create a little arch in your lower back, and can be a very, very small movement, and back. And the three-dimensionality I've described here, so it's involving, you might even be feeling that your middle spine and upper back is pulled a little in one direction and then pushed. And you might match this to a four-part breathing, where one direction of the roll is an inhale and you pause, and then an exhale and pause. And the key word there is might. You are free to explore in different ways, especially if what you try out what I'm doing, or it just doesn't feel right, or you have another whole idea, or you've got toolkits of your own to bring in. And then pause wherever you are, just stop midstream. And just notice what's here as you come to a scenic inner look. And then resume the movement, arching the lower back, but really coming from that golden ball. So and it's curious how big. I usually feel my golden ball is a little bigger than a tennis ball, not as big as a softball. But there's another variable you can work with. The thing that we always default to, it's useful to change that up sometimes. So sometimes you could, if yours was similar, maybe you'll go to a ping pong ball size, start from that size. Or make it big or bigger. It could even be larger than your body. It could be a beach ball size. And so it's so interesting that those imageries affect how we feel the movement even. All right, let that one go. You could rest your legs bent as they are, lean the knees against each other, or you can stretch the legs out. And just a re-arriving, and looking around, just like when you step off a train somewhere not so familiar, and you're looking around. Maybe you're looking for who's going to meet you, but be more general than that. Just look around, feel around for the wonder without moving, really, in this case, but just it's different here for yourself, in the shoulders, in the jaw, in the deep belly, in the golden ball area, in the feet. And what else? The sound of the bird outside. Okay, now you can choose either, maybe it'll be helpful to work on the same side for motion directionality. So let's take our right leg. Yeah. Right leg, and both knees bent now, and the right knee comes out to the side, but this is where your cushions come into play. Put them under your thigh and maybe toward your knee, but it's probably under the thigh in such a way, the thigh that went out to the side, so that the thigh can completely rest there. The full weight, you're not stretched, so you've got something that you're leaning into. Beautiful. And now let's take the same movement, but our golden ball is actually tilted to the side now. So as we start the rolling forward, like a belly button going forward and down, and then coming in and back. And you can imagine the movement starting anywhere. The eyes could be initiating the movement, the legs, the golden ball. or you can not think about it and just roll. And now your center, where you're rolling on your lower back, and make the movement really small. I think that's the suggestion, small and slow. There's some tendency we have to grab for a larger experience. And while there's nothing wrong with that, we get to see more and feel more in our bodies in these awareness through movement is what these kind of practices are called by their the person who codified them, Mr. Feldenkrais. We get to learn more and discover more and loosen more things up that have been maybe hidden or kind of like passed right over by larger movement, and oftentimes something has to either chronically tighten up or overstretch to allow that. That's a simplification, but and then pause in that movement and remember we're also breathing and the breath is here for us. Just pausing. And if you need to change the position to bring your leg back up to rest at any point, do what you need to tend to yourself. Okay, now next movement will not be, I should have used a clock idea. The clock face, while that's more two-dimensional, we were rolling along like the 12 to 6 line, going through, cutting through as we rolled our ball. And now we're going to go along maybe like moving more as if from the left hip to the right leg. So more like it could be a 2 o'clock to 2 to 8 or 1 to 7. So you're rolling your ball in a little different diagonal now, and just ensure that your leg is happily resting. Otherwise, it really makes it harder to get to the sweet spots we're massaging in the lower right side, right back side. And the rest of the body is free to be pulled along. You may feel even movements through side ribs, neck. You might occasionally check on what's going on in the eyes, the jaw. Just an easy scan, just not almost like just taking a flashlight and looking around while you're still doing what you're doing. And then pause for a moment just to let it go. And the pauses allow for a time of integration, a time of somehow letting our inner wisdom align things for us as we need them. As we take this, we're going to take the same movement for a few times and then switch to one more diagonal across the clock. But as we're approaching this, so you've got the motion, we're going to do the same one we did last time, like the 2 to 8 on the clock face. But I'm inviting you now to add just observing how you're meeting your experience. This precious experience of just here, this movement of what it feels like in your hip and what commentary might be arising, what emotions, what physical experience, say you might be feeling like, I really like this, it's comfortable, or it's challenging because I'm stuck, I get stuck there, I can't actually do that. Just noticing the atmosphere that you're creating as you go, co-creating with all that's happening. And just easily rolling now from like the 2 to the 8. And then let that go. And you might come to the 12, 6 again, just for that. It's a very familiar route. It might have been a little easier. And the next one will be kind of a flip of the 2-8. We'll go like was that a 10-4, 10 to the 4 on a clock face? So sort of rolling from your right hip, letting the golden ball roll forward toward your left leg and back. And you might notice like sometimes the comments that are popping up are like, am I doing this right? I'm not sure if I'm doing this right. And very natural, right? Many of us do have this kind of commentary or some kind of commentary. But seeing that, feeling it is so, so valuable to keeping our nervous system integrated, regulated, in harmony, calm enough to enjoy, to learn, to maximize. You might notice I'm sort of mirroring this from a sitting position, which is a whole different experience, but I feel my jaw mimicking oftentimes different spheres in our body will be mimicking the one we're paying attention to. All right, let that go. And let your legs come, your right leg come back up. Let your legs go to any position you like, stretched out, knees bent. Could even roll to your side if you prefer, but just to a still place where we can take another pause before we go to the other side. And we're in like a mini meditation right here. Just still being presence, being the presence that we already are. And something this presence has is this gentle watching that's always here with us, like the light of the sun. Shines equally, always shining. And now let's set this movement up on the other side. So left knee, both knees will bend. Bring your cushions over to the left side. And on the left, place them so that this side might be different. Most of us have discovered that by now. And or maybe not. Maybe you're new to this practice and you're just discovering how those two sides of the body are so different. So alike and so different. And so once you've got that set up and your left knee is out to the side comfortably, the right knee is more upright. And you might even play, I didn't suggest this on the other side, if there's, should be really easy to be here. And if it's not, you might slide your right foot, the sole that it might have fit, it's out just a half inch or inch more out to the right or in, might be a little more, create a little more stability for you. And just imagine for a moment, for a few moments, don't actually move, but imagine that we're rolling that golden ball a few times slowly, imagining, not doing, a few times 12 to 6. And your body is going to do a little bit of it. It can't help it, but try to not do. Then roll, let's see, now it would be the 10 to 4. So from the right hip to the left leg, the one we did, that diagonal we did the first time on it was the second movement on side 1. Not doing, even if your body does do it a little, which is fine and actually is a good sign. And then the 10 to 8 or 1 to 7. Oh, and I didn't do a 9 to 6. Yeah, try a 9 to 6 and go ahead and start doing. It's very hard to separate the imagining from the doing. So we're starting the actual movement with the 9 to 6 here, which might be a little more challenging than the 12. Oh, sorry, 9, not 9 to 6, 9 to 3 to 9. 3, sorry, you might know what I thought. I want horizontally on our body, 3 to 9, 3 to 9. Thank you. Across. Sorry about that confusion. And as I was just doing this very, very minimally, almost just imagining, I noticed my eyebrows furrowing. Just to share how we just keep scanning for what's happening in the space around as we're doing. And then a few movements. You choose the diagonals you want to do, and they can be approximate. Of course, those clock numbers are just to guide us. So do your diagonals at your own speed. Once in a while, pause and just stop, like stop and smell the daffodils. That's what's blooming now or a little past. Some are still blooming here, but for those of us here who were talking about the daffodils earlier. Connecticut, Virginia, and Maryland represented. If you haven't paused yet, take a pause, and we'll take about 1 more minute of this activity. And then let it go. Relax your legs down or keep them bent to a still place where you can be still for a couple minutes. You can let your arms and hands rest wherever feels easy and comfortable and sweet for you. And we're just here, home, with ourselves. The beingness that we are. And really, it doesn't actually take any effort. It doesn't take any certain practices or skill building or regimens. In fact, I'm trying to grab a concept that I just heard this morning. It's as if when we're trying to get somewhere, to get to this presence, if we're doing that, which we always are, because there's a little paradox here. It's sort of like we need to remember, to come to remembering, coming together with ourself, and yet it's almost a denial of the fact that we already are. So they're sort of both, always being, always becoming. And we can give ourselves a break for all the ways we judge ourselves for not doing that. Indeed, even celebrate how easy it is, how available it is. And so this practice was rather, we didn't do a seated meditation, but I tried to convey that we were in a kind of meditation in our pauses and that longer pause at the end. And between the right and left sides was a meditation. Something you might do if you're watching this at home, and also those of you now, if you like, I'll ring the bell and end the recordings, but and those of you who are here on Zoom we can visit for a few minutes. But you might slowly get up after the bell and get to seating, and then come up to standing, and just once you stand for a few moments, walk slowly. And that's a really valuable way to see what this particular practice has done for us. And so that flies in a contradiction of what I just said. Our presence is always here. Yes, and we live in these bodies. We're in these bodies that are temporary and always changing, and we are kind of the stewards of this planet, of our bodies, and so we do our best from that place of presence to care for them. And so one more thing before I stop the recordings that came to me as I rung the bell, perhaps as we're still in this deep stillness and kind of a loosened sense, if you'd like. I have some friends who are going through some really tough times, and it just feels right to just extend my heart out to them, kind of make that connection like the person at the 2 a.m. light next door, and just there's some kind of closeness we come to. So thank you, and we'll see you all next week. Check sunandmoonstudio.com for all our offerings and signing up for this.